Fractions to decimals. Good morning, class. Mr. Cruz here, and I'm here to explain how to convert fractions to decimals. All right, let's begin. To tell you honestly, some fractions are easy to convert to decimals. What do I mean? Here's what I mean. All you need to do is to read it, and then you'll figure it out. Let's look at some examples. The first example is it's the easy fraction called 9/10. If you read that, you say 9/10. You say 9/10. And as you've learned, 9/10, you write it as 9/10. If I have a number such as 400s, then you read it as 400s. And then you write it down. 400s, it's written as 0.04 or 400s. Now let's look at some fractions that are not so easy to convert. So let me scroll up. The first one is 1/5. When you convert 1/5, there are two methods for you to use to convert 1/5 as a decimal. The first one is by division. I'm going to write it down right here. Method 1. Divide. So 1/5. 1 is the numerator and 5 is the denominator. The one who goes inside the division sign is what you call the numerator. So now let's divide. How many 5 goes to 1? Simple, that's 0. Now, since I can't divide 1, now I have to borrow a decimal and a 0 and put a decimal right there on top. So you make sure you have to line up the decimals. Now you could easily divide. How many 5 goes to 10? Or what is 10 divided by 5? It's simply put as 2. So now your 1/5 is now 0.2, or simply put 2/10. Now what's method 2, Mr. Cruz? The method 2 is what you call proportions. So when you do proportions, as you remember from your previous math, proportions, you have to write down two equal fractions. So I'd like to draw this box right here and make it 2 equal. So if that's 1/5, then you have to think about decimal, power of 10. I like to use 10 to the power of 2, which is 100. So you could easily look for proportions right there. If you see from 5 to 100, you could easily spot that that's 5 times 20. Now, if that's 5 times 20, then you apply that on top. That will be 1 times 20. So the answer is 20 hundredths. Or, remember, as you read it, that's 20 hundredths, 20 hundredths. Simply put, that is 0.20. 0.20 or 20 hundredths. Okay? Maybe some of you are saying, now, Ms. Cruz, that's so easy. I know 1/5, that's 0.2 or 0.20. What if the fractions are a little bit complicated? Okay, I prepared something for you. It's called 5/8. Let's do the same thing. If you apply the first method, the numerator goes inside, the denominator goes outside. That's a pattern there. Can 8 go to 5? Definitely not. So that's a 0. Let me extend it a little bit here. So I'll borrow a decimal 0 and line up the decimal. Now let's divide. How many 8 goes to 50? The answer is 6. 6 times 8 is 48. The next step is subtraction. 50, take away 48, simply 2. Now there's nothing to bring down here. So what you have to do is, you borrow another 0, bring it down, make that a 20. What is 20 divided by 8? That's simply 2. 2 times 8, that's 16. See, we're not done yet. There's another remainder 4. You borrow another 0, extend this division sign. That will be 40. What's 40 divided by 8? Now, that is 5. So now, you can finish your division into no remainders. So 5/8 is simply 0.625. Simple. Now let's try method 2. I have 5/8. Set up your ratio table for your proportion. Again, I like to use 100 because that's 10 times 10, which is still base 10. So I will use that there. So now I don't know, that simple multiplication, 8 times 1 is 100. So what I'll do is I will use cross multiplication. You could cross multiply. That's how you solve proportions. 5 times 100 is simply 500. Now, are we done? No, you're not. See this 8 right there? That 8 will go as a denominator or the outside of division sign right there. So now you can divide. How many 8 goes to 5? 0. How many 8 goes to 50? That's 6. 6 times 8 is 48. So you're doing your whole division, your long division. 50 minus 48 is 2. Bring down 0. And then 8 goes to 20. 2 times 8, 16. Remainder 4. Now there's nothing to bring down. You know what to do. Decimal 0, decimal on top, then bring down that 0. How many 8 goes to 40? That is 5, and finish it off. No remainders. So now my answer is 62.5 what? 62.5 over 100. How do you read that, right? 62.5 hundredths. It means there are 2 zeros there. You move the decimals 2 times. You go 1, 2. So your answer now will be 0.625. Okay, whichever method you choose, divide it or cross multiply. This is how to write fractions to decimals.